Hey y'all, Data Guy here. And today I have a video for you on a tool I've been seeing coming up a lot more just online, at work, really everywhere, which is n8n. And this is a kind of primarily GUI based workflow automation tool. But what I like about it is while it is GUI based, it makes it really easy for people to come in, create drag and drop workflows, but still with a lot of complexity. There is also a code layer you can fall back on. So if you decide, hey, I need to define logic and code this way, you have that optionality. But its first and primary interface is, hey, a really easy way to interact with and kind of create workflows out of different AI tools, and also have AI agents interact with and be triggered by certain actions. So in this example, like, hey, a chat message is received in Slack or something, then the AI agent is going to then, go check its memory, call it to Postgres. It's going to call out to OpenAI to take that question and get an answer from it. So really cool tool that I think a lot of people could get a lot of value of. So I thought worth talking about on this channel. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today is go through kind of how you can, what an n8n is, how you can get started using it. And so I'll show you, hey, run you through how the platform works and then show you how to set it up on your local machine so you can test it out for yourself. But without further ado, let's get into it. So really, I would say the two biggest benefits, in my opinion, of n8n are number one, it's really accessible and really makes it really easy to bring in really kind of create workflows out of any of your existing tools. There's over 400 pre-built connections, and you can also create custom nodes, which I love and a lot of other kind of GUI providers don't have. And then also, it's got a really good integration with the different tools within the AI ecosystem. And it also is, really good at, understanding, hey, this AI model doesn't just need an input and a call to ChatGPT, but it actually needs to call out to a vector database and it needs to pull in some information from there. And it also, needs to get certain context and be able to have, an MCP server that has certain tools that it can use for more efficiency as well. And so I think it's a really great tool for building kind of, lightweight workflows out of different tools that you might already be using. So hey, I have a new email that comes in. I have an n8n workflow that takes that email and generates a response. And really useful for those kind of lightweight, hey, this would be a really cool thing for AI to do, but with other tools where there's a lot of overhead, it might be really expensive. And what's good about n8n is they do have a cloud product, but they also have a fully self-hosted offering as well, which I will show you in a couple minutes. But just kind of wanted to talk about some other good use cases here as well. Is you have a lot of, it's really great for any kind of data integration or synchronization between CRM and marketing tools, or if you have something where, hey, I want to import data from Google Sheets into a some kind of backend application. It's also really good for content management or handling social media. So say, hey, I have a social media input, a post I want to create, or I want to interpret a post and like automate a summary that I post to a Twitter account, things like that. Really good for. And like I said, you have no boilerplate code really. You just have, that kind of GUI interface, but you also have the option to go in there, break it open, customize it if you need to, and then have that be a repeatable pattern that you can use across many different pipelines. So that is kind of just, quick overview of the benefits of n8n. So now what I'm going to do is show you how you can actually get started using their self-hosted offering, because their cloud product has a 14-day free trial. So I want to have something a little more longer lived, and I'm all about open source. So meet you over in Cursor. All right, so to get started using n8n, we're just going to use the Docker download here. So just going to open up a terminal window and then run in the Docker commands for creating n8n. So here you'll see we have Docker create n8n data, and then we're just going to Docker run it. And then here, the only thing you'll need to set, and I set mine here, is the time zone. So I'm in America, New York. So I'm setting my time zone to America, New York. And then you can just hit run, and assuming everything goes well, this will build and then pull the image from n8n and then build and run it locally. So it's going to take a few minutes, and I'll show you when it's done. So once it's done building, you'll see I have this editor is accessible now at localhost 568, or you can just press O to open in browser. So just for fun, let's do that. Didn't really work, so I'm going to go open it up in my browser and show you there. So after you open up the link, you'll be prompted to log in and make an account. But you can also, if you make an account, you get activation. So this lets you get some of the more advanced features. I'm just going to do it because why not? And here now you can see I have my n8n environment, fully local, fully running on my own machine. So you can run this and use this as much as you like. It's open source that I can start developing on. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create my first workflow. So I'll go here, create workflow. And let's say, I want to have something, I want to build a chatbot, right? So I want to say, hey, whenever a customer enters a message into a Slack chat, I want to collect that, and I want to then, say, hey, give me a response, based on what that customer asked. So here, let's see, find a Slack action. So after you search for the tool that you actually want to interact with, you'll see that if I go from Slack, it then will open up a list of actions that I can choose from as my trigger. So here, if I want to get a file, delete a message, update a message, send a message, these are different things that I can do with Slack. Then here under Slack tool this is where I can send a message in Slack. So if I want to create a credential here, I will just need to go grab my access token from Slack, which I'll go do in a second, and then signature secret here, and then boom, save all this, and then this will let me save a Slack message. But actually, I don't have a Slack enterprise account, so let's swap this out and do actually Google Sheets. So here we'll say, hey, I want to take a row within a Google Sheet. So on row added, I'm going to take that row, and then I'm going to take that as a message, and then I'm going to send that to a chatbot to give me some response based on it. So here, I can use OAuth too. So here, if I want to, there's really no other option. You have to use OAuth for connecting into Google Sheets and most other tools. So after you've gotten your client ID and client secret from the Google Cloud Console, which you can just go by going to the Google Auth platform and just creating an app, and it's really easy, honestly. So here, next, what you're going to do is just go to, it'll add in your client secret, client ID, which I'm not showing you for obvious reasons. It'll pop up a little button to sign in with Google, which you can see there. And then you'll sign in, and you're going to need to grant the access for n8n to actually be able to access and manipulate the files within your account. So we'll allow that, and I'm going to, and this is obviously for my local host, so it's only going to allow people going from your local host to be able to do this. And then you see I have my Google trigger, or my Google Sheets trigger added. And so now what I'll need to do is actually edit and add the sheet name and the trigger that I'm actually going to do. So let's add those as well. So I can do that by just double clicking here. And then you'll see I have my credential added, so the Google Sheets trigger account. And here I need to actually grant another permission to be able to use it to actually pull from these sheets. So I'm going to go add that as well. One moment. So just make sure that within the Google API services, you've enabled this Google Sheets API, because that's why that threw me that actual rejection at first. So enable the Google Sheets API. And now what we'll do is check my credential again. So I'm actually going to reconnect and just have it re-trigger now that I've enabled this. So it turns out you actually need to wait for Google to approve it. So in the meantime, I'm going to show off another really good feature of n8n, which is the ability to use test data. So here you see I actually can put in a test data table here, and I can either enter it by schema or by JSON here, where I can now use this as a test event for the rest of my workflow. So I can just hit save here, and then save the output changes. And then here, now I can actually start interacting with an AI message. So here, let's say I want to take this message and I want to say, hey, can you please, and then let's say, help me create a nickname for this person's name. So let's just say I want to make a quick nickname generator. Create a nickname for this person. And here, it's just going to message the model, and here we'll choose from a list or by ID. So here, add a credential. So let's go select and enter my OpenAI account. So 1 second here. So just save that, added my credentials for my OpenAI account. And then what we'll do is then going to take it in and going to build and here execute my step. And cannot be executed for that reason. So let's see what the issues are. Oh, for model from list. So now I'm going to choose Codex Mini Latest. Why not? And then execute steps. So here we're going to see what nickname now this is going to create. And after we've done testing it, we can then create a workflow and have this run on a repeatable basis. So you can see here, output, I'd love to help you. And then obviously this is a pretty terrible first name, so not really good. But then also here we can add in built-in tools. And this is where if you have an MCP server, you could also bring in your MCP server and the tools there as well. And hey, maybe search the web in New York to go find this nickname, right? And you also can check, hey, always output data, only execute once, retry and fail. There's a lot of really just smart settings to add here on how you would typically want to interact with an AI workflow. And so here, if we're done adding this, right? So messages and model, and then back, let's say, hey, I want to now send this back to another person. This is where hey, now I want to send an email out with this message. So again, you set up an email connection and then build that out as well. And really, that's kind of how you create all your workflows in n8n. It's very simple. And also, if I want to go open up, it's not just services you can interact with. This is where also you can add things like, hey, I want to run custom code. I want to make an HTTP request. I want to execute a data table. There's a lot of different options other than just calling out to cloud services. So if you guys think this is interesting, let me know. We'd love to make future videos on this tool. But if not, let me know as well, and I'll stop making videos on it. But I thought this was really cool for people that are trying to break into data engineering but haven't quite made that jump yet. Try it out with n8n. But hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day. Data Guy out.